timeline. The separation narrowed down to a fine line. To blur the edges so they blend together properly. Take you on an audible odyssey. Now it's going down. Put it out for the world to see. LP and X-Men to the 10th degree. Going down. Nobody in the world is safe when we melt down the wax in your wreck debris. Going down.
All right, guys, what's going on? I am the one, the only, the W-O-O-K-I-E, joined here. We're missing a misfit this week. Which one are we? Oh, we're missing JR. We're missing JR. He is on super top secret assignment again this week. We'll find out what that was when he comes back. Oh, no, JR's not going to be back for a while, is he? JR's gone for like the next 4 weeks. But we got Drazcore.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
We got Sheep.
Yay!
He's already 3 games in.
3 games or 3 drinks?
Oh, what do you drink? Well, what are you drinking tonight?
Coke Zero.
Oh. You always get my hopes up. And we got Z.
Hey.
The Wrecker of Worlds.
Officially off hiatus. I actually thought we were already recording a second ago. And,
no, we were not recording quite yet.
I'm ready to go.
We're ready to go. And a special guest this week. Big thank you to Lyle from Crit Camp from joining on. Hi, Lyle.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Well, you know, now that you've given it all away,
yep,
there's no reason for you to be here. So thanks for coming on.
No, yeah, all right.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're gonna go through it again.
I'll see you on the Crucible.
We're gonna have some fun with this because we also got some news today, so you get to have some fun with us with a little bit of news from Ghost Galaxies today. Real quick, we got ABR going on this week. Dr. Drazray, how's Dr. Drazray doing this week? Just this week. I don't care about last week.
We do really good until the opponent's teams get all their players together to beat our guys.
Number one, Custodian was not there.
Oh, sorry.
Just myself and JR. Number two, it is well within the rules.
What? You don't need to elaborate. What's going on? Is this like team matches going on?
Yeah,
ABR is team format.
Yes. So this week it's Dr. Drazray versus Custodian
Wook-Wook.
Yes. And the Wookiee and X-Ray played. And, X-Ray's not here to defend himself. So
he's here, but he's just...
Well, not
to defend himself.
He's just in the corner of shame over there. So go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
He's got his cone on. He's in the corner.
Not my fault. But let's just say we're up by 1 at the current time. It's not over. There's still 2 games to play. So good luck. Anyways, we got Swindle going on. What's Swindle? What's with Swindle, Drazcore?
Yeah, so Swindle is there's this Swindle SAS bound event that started. Now, it evolved in a little bit of an interesting way. There was a post by Karen out there that said, "Hey, I want to try out this format in where basically everybody starts with a relatively high SAS deck. I think she ended up paying 85, and then every time you win a game, you have to have a cap. Your cap goes down by 3. Every time you lose a game, your cap goes up by 2. And then originally it was described as, hey, we're going to get together alternating Sundays, and everybody's going to play X number of games, and it's just going to go on for a while until somebody closed out the season by getting the deck all the way down to, I forget what number she picked, but I'll make it up. I'll say it was like 70 or something. I'd have to go back and look.
Attaboy in true AC fashion.
Yep.
Make shit up.
Yep. So I thought it was a really cool sounding format, and I always love excuses to pick weird decks when you start, getting down there. So I was like, sure, I'll do it. And then after I signed up, they're like, well, people didn't like this alternating Sundays thing, so they sort of turned it into a league that you play 4 matches a week, which is like, oh man, actually, that's a little bigger than I thought it was going to be. But 4 matches over the course of 2 weeks. But that's all right. So I'm doing it.
I was like, 4 a week is quite a bit.
Yeah, 4 every other week. So it's basically you have to average 2 a week. So we're a week and a half in. I've done 2 so far. Won 1, lost 1. So I guess I'm at 84 now because I won and then lost. Is where my cap is. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Like I'm always happy to play Keyforge, and it's an interesting, different format. And we'll go from there.
We got Vault Keeper coming up this week. This weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the finals, right?
A final. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
This is the finals. I tried to risk it for the biscuit last week, and I did not get in. I was unfortunately 10 people on the waiting list to get in. Guess where I was?
One out.
I was number 11.
Oh.
So, that was fun.
Mm.
Not really.
Didn't click the forum fast enough.
No. You'd think knowing a guy would help you out, but it didn't.
Not that guy.
Clearly not.
I think Sheep and me were kind of gifted our spot. Like, our decks were freaking fire for that. Like, his was great, mine was great.
You guys did pull some heat, that's for sure.
I was like, this is stupid for Sealed. Like, because he had his was it the day before or something? I saw his. I was like, okay, that's lazy. And then I pulled mine. I was 2 Captain Vals for Sealed. Let's go.
Yeah, your deck's really just absolutely bananas.
But now the finals are all best of 1 adaptive. So how are you feeling about that, Z?
It's short adaptive. This is the only format I have a losing record in. I think the last time I checked, I'm like 5-23. So I expect to play probably 1 game. That's what the math would dictate.
1 and done, baby. All right, in true AC fashion.
And I are at a bachelor party during a later round of this event, so we'll see how that goes for me.
All right. Are you gonna play like during the bachelor party?
Yes, I will be playing from a laptop with my cell phone.
Nice, like from.
See,
the
Lyle,
club.
this is how devoted we are. He will be in a bathroom drinking and playing Keyforge all at the same time.
I'll be at a Brewers game.
That's a little much.
At the Brewers game in the troughs. If you've ever been to Miller Park, we don't have urinals. We have troughs where everyone communally pees. So that will be interesting to watch.
Nice.
Is it short adaptive the whole way this time, or does it
It does not change. You're short adaptive from here on out.
Maybe if I can convince every single one of my opponents, we can flip a coin for the winner. I might have a better shot of winning it.
Well, with your record, yes. 50-50 is definitely better odds.
I hope to see you in the first round.
I mean, that's fine. At least someone that I care about will win.
All right, we got some more news.
I'll be there, but I kind of have to leave early, so maybe I want to go out in a blaze of glory also.
Boy.
So we'll see.
So wait a minute. All 3 members who qualified have to either leave early, will be busy elsewhere, or have a terrible record at short adaptive. Awesome. Thanks for not letting me in, Joker.
AC!
Thanks for not letting me in, Joker. Yep.
I bid on this.
That's fine. Ooglook will win it all. It's
Probably.
Yeah, he could. That's true.
But we did get some news from Ghost Galaxies today. Keyforge Adventures, I told you guys this was going to happen, is going to be released in a... What are they calling this? It's going to be formally released into actual cards. So if you were big into Keyforge Adventures, I don't know. Is this little too late for Keyforge Adventures?
Well, I was wondering about this. There was a little buzz around this, but did anyone actually care about it that much? I tried it once.
People bought the decks. People.
So did I. I was one of them. I bought it. Yeah. I paid
just before this announcement. I completely forgot that this even existed.
Yeah.
Most people
I don't know.
I played the first one a couple of times and never played the second one. But I don't play Keyforge for a co-op experience, and my co-ops don't need to be my competitive games. They're different things.
But they will be releasing that, so if you do want to buy it, you can. I could have swore I read something about they're adding cards in Nightmare.
They're
cards?
adding a Nightmare version to each one, so some cards to up the difficulty, and that way there's actually a reason for those who bought it once to buy it again.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, from the actual company.
Right. Which, I kind of... If I was more into Keyforge Adventures, I would do it to support them. But
I think it's a fun, one-time thing, but I do think people need to kind of understand that's what you're buying. You're buying like a one-shot experience, have fun one day, and you're probably not going back.
This reminds me a lot of...
But that is what I've been getting from everyone.
Sheep, you played the WoW TCG, right?
I sure did.
Didn't they had like those
They
boxes.
had the raid decks.
The raid decks. There they were. I couldn't remember what it was. This feels a lot like that. No?
I didn't even know.
Sort of, yeah. It's sort of the same thing. Except the raid decks provided stuff that you could use
play with
in
IRL.
A regular game. Yep. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's the same kind of thing.
$25 too. That seems pricey.
Really? That sounds pretty reasonable.
I think Aegis was more. I feel like I paid more from the other company.
I think you're right.
Aegis was more?
I definitely feel I spent at least 30.
But one thing that looking at the demo packaging, it looks like everything's going to be a card. So like the cool tokens that Aegis put out, the octagon-y things and the different stuff that were like bigger cardboard tokens, looks like it's all just going to be all on the same side card stock from what the package looks like to me.
I do find this funny.
It's not a box.
We've been having this talk about whether Keyforge is a beer and pretzels game or whether it's a competitive game. In their little description of Keyforge Adventures, while Keyforge is normally a competitive head-to-head game, Keyforge Adventures allows for everyone to bring their deck to play on the same side.
Yep.
Lokar
is chiming in saying Aegis is 30 if you want.
Aegis was 30? I didn't buy him at 30.
If you want good card stock, there's cheap card stock version from the Aegis you can get for 15 to 16.
You can also print it and just cut them out. The printed play decks
that's what they were made for during during pandemic time. Yeah.
I wonder if they will print and play the advanced cards or if they're going to be purchase only.
I think the advanced ones, they're going to try to make some dollars off of it, right? Like, they got to recoup
I think they should. I remember saying back when we did the cast about it initially, like, they should have sold this as a product. Like, I ended up buying it from Aegis. Like, a lot of us did that. Like, they could have sold that, but that's just them not really caring about Keyforge.
Well, that was Fantasy Flight. This is a totally different crew.
Yeah.
Let's keep that in mind. Fantasy Flight, Ghost Galaxy, two different companies.
The other company that Christian Peterson currently owns is a digital printing company, right? So he already has another company that's basically built for printing this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think they're sending this out to China for a print job like FFG did with everything.
Well, if they were doing that, there's no way they would be able to sell this soon.
Mm-hmm.
Not with all the other stuff in the world.
Right. So I think they are printing it from their print shop. I believe it's in Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. All right, let's move into why Lyle is here. Lyle said something that piqued my interest way back with the SAS Ladder climb. So why don't you go ahead, for those who don't know about it or maybe didn't watch it. Number one, why don't we go ahead, introduce yourself, and then for those of you probably who don't know you from Crit Camp, and then obviously we'll get into the ladder climb.
Sure. My name's Lyle. I'm a co-host of Crit Camp. We stream tabletop games on Twitch and put our videos on YouTube, so check us out. And the SAS Ladder climb is something I sort of made up back in the day when we first started playing Keyforge, really. And I was looking for a way to sort of, during my solo streams, find an episodic way to stream and play through all the decks in my collection. And so I figured, hey, why don't I take each expansion, Coda, AOA, etc., sort all my decks in that collection by SAS, lowest to highest, and then I would take each deck, starting from the lowest, into quick join games in the Crucible, and just see how well they did. And that way I could play through all of my decks, because when I was playing in person, I was only bringing one or two decks a week, to IRL plays. And I just wanted a way to churn through a bunch of my decks to find gems and lower SASs and all that other stuff. Also, I was kind of unconvinced with the SAS numbers if they were going to be real or not. So I kind of wanted to test against that to see if it was, what that number really meant for me. And so I would start the lowest SAS, play quick join games on the Crucible. If I got 2 losses, that deck was eliminated, and I would move on to the next highest SAS number. Or if it got enough wins, like 10, which it never really did, then that deck would ascend, and I would just move on to the next deck just to get through the collection. And so I've played through my entire collection on Twitch, on stream. All those videos are on YouTube. You can go through them. You can check out every deck I have in my collection, except for like the recent ones where I went kind of nuts and bought a bunch of mass mutations on that
the dollar sale.
Fire sale. Yeah, all my decks have been played, and I found a few gems in lower sasses that I was sort of surprised about, and but a lot of I guess that's it. I don't know where I was going with that. That's it.
So did you track these on a spreadsheet or?
I did track on a spreadsheet, but I wasn't tracking all that many different stats, right? I was doing win-loss rates and on my SAS ladder, and then just against what the SAS was, and then sort of my total win rate for those decks all together. So, it was just interesting because if I had a bunch of plays on a deck that I thought was pretty good in person, and then I brought it and just did it on the SAS map, sometimes it didn't do as well, depending on who you're matched up against. But then there's some decks that I didn't really have that many wins on in person, or I got it at a sealed event and never played it again, that I brought in the SAS ladder and then got like 8 or 9 wins before it got eliminated. So it was pretty interesting to go through. And overall, I was just trying to find a way to enjoy my collection, because it's you buy all these decks and you want to play them all, right? And just to see what's going on there. And this was just my way of doing it.
Awesome.
Now, where are you out of again? I don't remember where you guys are out of.
Okay, so when we started the channel, both me and my co-host Chris, we were living in New York. But since then, he's moved to Pennsylvania. I'm down in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, wow. That's quite a move.
Yeah.
You going to Kansas City?
No, I'm not going to Kansas City.
That's too bad. That could have been fun.
I know.
That's this.
Are any of you guys?
I believe. Well, I am. Sheep is. Z is. And JR is. Drazkor's the party pooper. We could have had the whole boy band together, and
really
he fucked it up. He fucked it up.
I'm gonna see what I can do. I would really like to.
For Drazkor. Poo for Drazkor.
Let's go.
I was gonna buy us all matching shirts.
I'd be like, honey, I don't care if it's your birthday. Do you want to go on vacation? I gotta go to Keyforge.
Listen, priorities, boy. Keyforge is life. That's just
I will celebrate your birthday the rest of the month.
And Drazkor, you just have to do it right. Send the kids to grandma's. Set the wife up in some fancy spa.
Yeah.
And you just have a nice weekend. Don't worry, I got everything else covered. You send the kids to grandma, and then you leave.
Yeah, you don't tell her I'm sending the kids to grandma.
No, certainly not. You can't use her grandma or her mom, obviously.
Right. And then my mom starts texting photos, and then I'm in trouble.
So when you were going to live events, was that in New York or is that in Tennessee? I guess I don't know
Tennessee.
when the move happened.
Yeah.
Tennessee. So how's the community in Tennessee?
Dude, I love it here. So my local shop, we tend to in our heyday we would get up to I don't know, everywhere between 12 to 16 people a week.
Wow.
Coming out to events, which I thought was great. I don't know what your guys' local scene is, where you guys are. I'm sure
you're looking at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is we started meeting up again just a couple months ago. Locally again, and we are doing weekly Keyforge stuff, and we're getting a good 8 to 10 people per week, and those are all people. It's only 2 new people. Everybody else is from pre-pandemic times. I'm just happy that they still exist.
Sure. I mean, even new people is great. So,
yeah.
So number 1, how many gems did you find?
So when we're talking about gems, I'm talking about decks that are lower than 70 that perform pretty well. and it's and I have 3 or 4 of those in my sort of my top 10, which I was really really pleased with, and 2 of them were actually from AOA, which I was like very surprised about.
Because 70 in AOA, we all know what that means. So any AOA set, you got to add 10 to the SAS number, and that's its true SAS, right? Right, Sheep?
That's right.
Is that what you guys
playing
figured?
it, then you can add 20.
That's Sheep's rule. It's not everyone's rule.
Oh,
I
okay.
did go 3-1 with a 57 last night.
Wait.
I mean, yeah. Anyways,
I mean,
AOA has some fun stuff, but
I was
it's not my
lukewarm on
favorite.
AOA when it came out, and these days, since I bought a bunch of AOA off cheap Amazon sales, I sort of like fell in love with AOA in the last few months.
really?
Any particularly interesting patterns in terms of decks that in those gems where it's like, oh, it's got a bunch of this or that or the other thing?
Well, the 2 ones in AOA that ended up being really good, I think both decks have free markets in them. I have a double free markets in them. One of them definitely has a double free markets and an Oath of Poverty. And so both of them are kind of like Amber Race decks that don't really care about board all too much. They're just really fast. And I remember like being able to play those games and just sort of finishing games quickly. And so that was sort of like how those in particular worked out, which I was like sort of surprised, because when I was looking at the tool set in those decks, like I'd be like, oh, they don't have artifact control, they don't have like a lot of board clears, like this isn't going to be great, and then ended up not mattering for those in particular.
So was it anything below 70? Like, did you still play the below 70s?
What do you mean?
Above 70s. Did you play any above 70s?
No, because he said.
I played everything in my collection. So
everything.
The lowest thing I have is like the mid 50s, and then the highest thing I have is like an 80 something in Worlds Collide, an 87 in Worlds Collide. I played most of them. It's funny that the really super high SAS number ones, especially in Worlds Collide, only ever got like 1 or 2 wins.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you change which lobby you played in based off of the SAS of the deck?
That is true. So in the very beginning, I was just playing casual games throughout. I never really considered myself a super competitive player. I consider myself more of a casual player, so I felt like in the very beginning I wasn't going into the competitive lounge. But then, you start getting angry people when you play, when they like see that you have like a 73 and above if you're not in competitive. So then I would start switching it over to competitive once it got to like 73 or 74. So so it's a little skewed, right? Because the gems that I found were played in sort of a casual lobby. And so I could go back and check it out and see how well they did. And I actually did once I went through all of my decks, I actually found the top 10 best performing ones, and I took them all in competitive lobbies. One of the 64 SAS decks from AOA that went 9-2 went 6-2 like a few months ago in competitive. So
nice.
That one still held up. So there was about half of them held up to their original sort of win-loss rates, and then the other half sort of failed.
Was that the one you were talking about, the free markets and whatnot, or was that a different deck?
No, that's the one with the free markets as well. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you have that deck list handy? I want to see this thing now. I'm like very interested.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm gonna put it in Discord.
Yeah,
for you guys.
Because like, especially like Sanctum is not like what you're like. Oh, competitive AOA must be Sanctum. Like that is not what you're thinking. Ronnie wrist clocks, TMTP.
Sanctum is a house in that's like Brobnar and many other ones. You get the right set of cards, it's really good. My success or my playing AOA, if I have an Oath of Poverty or a Soldiers to Flowers, I think I'm going to win games with the deck, because both those just make so much amber somewhat unexpectedly. Even when people see them, they don't realize how huge of an impact they can have.
Where should I dump this link for you guys?
Wherever you want. Just tell us where it is.
Throw it in Keyforge.
Yeah,
you can throw it in-
Keyforge is
It'll
fine.
just be in the Keyforge channel.
There you go. I want to see this thing. Oh,
So-
even the thing now puts it sideways.
Yeah, that just started like this morning.
Oh yeah, I was about to say this
Whoa.
bot is doing something interesting now.
Yeah, it's flip the card now.
Oh, it does have the Oath of Poverty. Yep.
Yep.
And the double free markets. Nice.
And a couple of mother guns to sell,
Yeah.
Guns. Let's get the Mars. Yeah, Mars.
which you're fine with doing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the
and a too much protect over there too. Anna miasma.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't look... I mean, that is
Yeah,
not a
Wrinkle
deck
Lottery
I would
seems
choose.
to be
The expected
good.
amber numbers at 29. You know.
So you're just trying to outrace, basically. I mean, you've got some member control.
Like the way I found out how to play it is just you're just racing.
Just go. Sounds like my kind of deck. Just go.
Yep.
Just go.
Don't even read the cards. Just
Don't
go.
read the cards. Just
Don't
play.
read the cards. Just go. I think in my notes. Hold on. I think I got this in a sealed event where I went like 0-3.
Well, that's what it says here. It says 0-3.
Yeah, it sure does.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, and this is
So-
one of the better performing ones?
Yeah, this was like my top performing deck. So when I went through it the first time around, it went 9-2, and I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just the time of day I was playing, whatever, blah blah blah. And then a few months ago, when I did my top 10 All Stars, it went 6-2 in competitive, which is like second place or third place in all my decks.
Nice.
Because this is, I mean, I don't know. Sheep, are you looking at the deck?
Yes.
This is one that I would flag for the shredder bin.
This would get played in sealed and go into the generic AOA box. That's what I would do with it too.
Not the shredder bin?
Well,
Is that the
maybe
generic
ultimately.
AOA box?
Well, I mean, you play it and it feels real good, and you're like, "Hey, hold on! I don't care that it says 64 on the top, right?"
yeah, I kept a 64 Coda recently that I played in something that I said this deck is really good for 64, and I'm still playing it.
I mean, these days I'll definitely hold on to it. I know, like the ABR League itself, the previous one, we got to like a 65 SAS cap week. I was like, I don't even have a sub 65 deck anymore. Like I sold everything that wasn't reversal. Like it's all gone. So I had to borrow from the team that week because I was like, I don't have this. This would have been literally perfect for that week.
Yeah.
Either that or we shredded it at live. We did a lot of shredding at live.
Okay, so
all in good fun.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually interested in your guys' methodology here. So how many games do you play with a new deck before you decide, hey, like I'm selling this thing or I'm shredding this thing or I'm doing something else with it?
You play games.
One of my friends, one of the Team SAS team members right now is shopping decks, and these are decks we don't own yet. We're just shopping. But this week alone, the 3 main decks that he is interested in getting, we've put in over 30 reps on those 3 decks. All in competitive. That's a big price. That's a big price tag on those 3 decks. So that's a lot of reps we're putting in. If it was just like, I don't know, something under $100.
Yeah, but what SAS levels are these decks that you guys are looking at?
Big numbers.
They're all
big numbers. Big numbers. Like, how much time are you really honestly putting on a 64? Yeah, like if you're like 64, like you're not putting in a lot. What I mean, to answer that question, I don't even know if this would make it into like rotation to play.
Yeah.
This is what I scan and go, and then move on.
This is why I have switched to a process now but I'm involved in so many weekly events. I just open a deck for every weekly event and I play it.
Yep.
Even if it's Archon.
Yep.
Even if it's Archon Night, Archon Night, I will often open more than one AOA deck. And I will look at it, and if there's absolutely nothing in that deck that makes me want to play it, I just bin it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm over here being Snoopy, and so you only have 90 decks in your collection right now on decks of Keyforge,
Wow,
which is
rude.
by no means.
I've given away a lot of decks as
Yes.
well. So there's some that I've played on the SAS Climb, and then I kind of like giving away new decks to anybody that walks into the shop that is like new.
Nice.
I like to like give them 5 decks.
Take these with
just
you.
To be like, hey, like first 5 are free. You should come back.
Nice.
Yes. So I don't know how many you've actually opened, but I am at the over 1,500 decks opened.
Yeah.
So like at this point, I mean, I don't have enough time to play every deck, so I definitely go through it first. I go, does this have anything? Does it even have a dream that I want to play? And if it doesn't, it just goes in the bin.
Got it.
This deck, like if I'd opened this on an Archon night, I would have kept it. Like I would have definitely played this deck. Like it's got plenty enough going on for me to play it. It doesn't have enough where I'd be like, oh gosh, this is going to be like a where I would have thought about it. But if this goes 3-1 or 4-0 on an Archon night, then it gets put into the side pile of stuff to add to my decks of Keyforge collection for things like ABR.
If I opened this deck in any of the AOA vault sealed that I played, I think I would have won a vault.
That's not true. You would have gotten 4 and 2.
Not with this. This is like 100 times better than all of the decks that I went 4 and 2 with.
There's no way it is 100 times better than
Dude,
what you
there's a lot of tools in here.
One of my vaults that I went with AOA, I had Key of Darkness, which I used to forge a key.
That's on you, boy. I can't fix stupid, is what they say. You know?
I'm just saying, like, this is if you're looking at because you're talking about AOA sealed. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like the wipe, but like that. Where is it? Yeah, Radiant Truth. That's going to pay dividends. Often stunning their whole board is actually better than killing them. The Mother Gun, Orbital Bombardment plus Mars Needs Amber is amazing. The Flotsam itself can be a board wipe. It's because all the AoE creatures are small. The double Gamgee with the TMTP.
I say most of them you want to kill too. Pretty much the whole Shadows board your opponent wants to kill. Because I don't want to have Gamgees floating
into TMTP.
Yep.
Like that's just value. Masma can pump up the TNT. Like there is a lot in this deck that is actually really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, you've got only 3 efficiency, but you've got archiving out of it, so it's like just enough in sealed situation to get you out of a bind, right? To archive that TMTP, to archive.
Well, yeah, I mean
your miasma,
miasma TMTP, especially in sealed, pretty good.
Yeah, it even has Mars First with Proliferator.
Yeah,
I mean, like there's stuff here. The Red Planet Ray Gun to go with the Mars Needs Amber 2. Like it's all like there's a lot of value here. I'm not saying like I would take this in competitive now or Archon event or whatever, but like
tools.
As far as the sealed event, like that capped stuff that I was talking about, like this is a deck that I would probably play in a cap set, like a SAS cap event, potentially all the way up to 70 or whatever. No,
yeah, I like
it's good.
So I guess one of the questions I have written down here, and I think you did, is your correlation to SAS. So you found that your higher SAS decks did worse than your lower SAS decks? It's kind of what I heard. Or am I crazy?
No. It's yeah. I think the higher SAS decks, like they performed all right. I think because the SAS numbers, it correlates to sort of like card quality, in your decks, and so they would have some tools and stuff like that. This was more of me finding gems that were outside the high SAS numbers, and then also seeing that like just because it's a high SAS number doesn't mean it performs all the time. For me,
yeah. Well, and if your higher SAS numbers are Worlds Collide, it's the opposite of AOA. You got to like subtract 5 to 10.
All my high SAS, the top high SAS numbers are like from Worlds Collide. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Like upper 80s. That didn't do great at all.
it's still an overrated set in my opinion.
Blasphemy.
Now,
You also like AOA, so.
So are you still, even with the newer sets, trying to do the same approach even if you're not recording everything?
Yeah, I did with Dark Tidings. I have a very small set of Dark Tidings because, after the pandemic and Mass Mutation, came out and I wasn't really playing in person. That's where I was kind of getting all my decks. I have a really small collection, so it was easy to sort of blast through both of those sets for me. And yeah, my best performing stuff from Dark Tidings only went like 5 and 2, and there were SAS like 67 and 72. And then I have a couple 75 and an 82 that only went like 2 and 2.
Yeah, I'm looking at your 82. So Dark Tidings is another fun set when you look at SAS, where the higher they get, they seem to perform less well.
Yeah,
And it's got something to do with that. When Nova scored it, it was scored versus a mentality that is how MM and Worlds Collide play. So it really overvalues some stuff that doesn't work in the set as well as it does anymore.
gotcha.
It's just like the creature interaction stuff isn't valued great in there, and then the recursion draw stuff is, but it doesn't work as well because the play effects are really different, and it's so impossible to figure out how good the tide works with any deck.
Because all of the recursion in Dark Titans is bad because you don't want any of the cards back because they're all bad.
There is, those 60s and 70 Dark Tidings decks, the good ones, they're so fast and brutal, they're hard to keep up with. And then the 80 stuff is often so slow, it's easy to keep up with. Like, it does stuff, but it's slow. And like where the good Dark Tidings is the stuff that just makes 40 amber in 4 turns and says, whatever.
I have to go look now, because I don't know what the SAS... So I played Dark Tidings this week in Sealed. I'm not sure.
You had a pretty good deck.
I had a pretty good deck. I don't, I never looked at the SAS.
You even paid for it, so it must have been pretty good.
I did. I don't know. I kind of felt bad, so I paid for it. I was like, I've been bumming off a sheep for a while.
Yeah, but I always give you French AOA, so.
Oh, the French AOA. Oh, it's so good. It was pretty good. I mean, I don't know what the SAS was. I don't even actually know what the deck was, so.
Okay, so with your intent to play every deck, do you find yourself wanting to buy less decks so you don't have to play them all?
Well, I still have like 50 Mass Mutation decks to open, so apparently not.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a weird part. My wife sort of makes fun of me. She calls me a completionist, and so it like I put all this weird stuff on myself for like organization and trying to like play through all my decks. I know people don't do this.
Oh no, they do. We just had a whole episode on it.
Oh.
Because it gets really weird sometimes. But go ahead.
But yeah, it is something that's in the back of my mind when I'm like buying decks, and I'm like, well, that's in my head. I'm like, well, I guess that's more content, right? I'm just going to be streaming more and more and more games. But yeah, it does feel a little overwhelming sometimes where I'm just like, do I really want to keep doing this, or do I just like call it right now? But it's one of those things where like I bought the deck, I want to play the deck and see if it's good. I am not good at just reading deck lists. I never have been, which is why I perform so terribly in Vault Tours. And so I kind of have to go and play through it to see how it plays. So that's how I sort of measure whether or not I want to keep a deck or not. It's like I do it through my SAS Ladder climb, and then I like make a determination. I'm like, I really did not like that deck at all. So that's just sort of my way of enjoying my collection, my way of figuring things out for myself, since I'm not so great at reading deck lists. And
have you tried AC's best format that Dan ever created?
What was that?
Have you tried AC's best format that Dan ever created?
No.
It's called Shredder.
Okay. Well, what is the Shredder?
So, Dan, do you want to explain Shredder? It's great.
Shredder is how I use up all my decks. So it is a format that we created and you take a card in each one of your houses and you turn into a card called Shredder. And when you play it, you get to tear up cards from your opponent's deck.
Oh my god!
Like physically rip the card in half.
And how do you denote that this card is the Shredder, Sheep?
We use a Sharpie and we write Shredder on it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my god!
And then you play, and then you quite literally, like when you play it, it's like an Infernus, except it doesn't actually do Amber Control. But you go look through their discard, and you can tear some stuff up.
Oh my god!
And if you don't like their discard, you just tear up the top card of their deck. You don't know what it is. You ain't never played it. Whack!
Well, you know what it is because you can't shred the shredder.
Yes. If you flip
I mean,
up the
that sounds
Shredder.
hilarious, but that also sounds like a panic attack at the same time.
So yes, like there are people who
You should have seen it at live.
yeah, piles of cards just shredded everywhere.
I'm pretty sure we gave plenty of people some anxiety because we're just over here and rip.
It is a format inspired for those of us who buy way too many decks and have no idea what to do with them, and you can't even bulk sale them for $1. So then you just find another way to have fun with them, right?
That sounds great. I mean, there have always been talks, I think, since the beginning of Keyforge about like legacy Keyforge, or stuff like that. Or playing for pink slips with your decks, or like doing stuff like that, or like winner gets to burn the other person's deck. I think all that stuff is hilarious. I don't know how I would feel if I was actually put in that situation.
It's like,
but it sounds fun.
God.
Oh, I've never played Shredder.
Yeah.
Oh. That's right.
So,
you were busy losing and sealed.
Doesn't mean value, right? So just because the deck is unique doesn't actually make it worth anything. There's a lot of unique things in this world that doesn't make it worth something. So, I don't have a hard time just tearing stuff up.
He really doesn't. He really doesn't. All right. What did you learn anything about your play styles? How you like to play? Did you ever maybe give a deck to a buddy and they're like, oh hey, and they just absolutely decimated you with said deck? Or because you're doing this just on TCO, right?
Yeah, I'm just doing this on TCO.
But did you ever maybe oh hey, try this deck, it's such and such SAS, right, or whatever, and then all of a sudden just absolutely you get destroyed by it and you're like, oh hey, didn't see that line. Anything like that?
You know what? It's nothing like that, but I did learn a lot about that. I tend to I guess my default mode is to play defensively, and it does not work in my favor.
That's an Ewok.
So that I've had to teach myself to sort of not be so precious with my board, or make little riskier plays, or be able to play faster than I do. Because in the very beginning, when I started playing Keyforge, I found out I was very defensive and control-y player. Which when you're just sitting around, it's almost like you're feeling like you're too reactive and you're not making moves on your own. And so going through the whole thing and just playing, and that's just more playing reps with the game, more than just, it's just playing the game more and more. I learned that about myself going through this ladder climb, that it's sometimes you just gotta have to go for it, which is why I enjoyed those AOA decks that are just super fast, and why I enjoyed playing them, and was really excited when they were doing really well, because it was sort of just oh, okay, this is a style of play that I was uncomfortable with in the beginning, but is actually working out for me with these particular decks. So
nice. Now, do you find a lot of the decks you ended up doing well with or enjoy playing are this sort of, they have a bunch of gas, like this 29 expected Flameser with some cool tricks, or did you find, nope, there's a variety of stuff? You could do low expected Ember as well, or did you find any patterns?
I'm definitely finding that I want to play decks with more expected Amber. I think I hit a lull in the middle of my Worlds Collide climb, where I was everything is so damn slow. And everything is dinosaurs versus dinosaurs, and we're all just capturing each other's amber, and nothing is happening, and it was sort of driving me insane. And so to this day, I'm like, I know that like dinos win games, and like Worlds Collide dinos are still great, but it's hard for me to want to play a deck with them, or especially like a deck that's like dinos and Sanctum.
Interesting.
That would be a slog win. So overall, you talked to us about your gym, and then you said you did like an all-star climb at the end. So what ended up being your most winning deck?
My most winning deck in the All Stars is a tie. There is a 72 SAS AOA deck that went 7-2 that originally went 5-2, and then there's a Coda deck that went 7-2. So this is a 68 Coda deck that went 7-2 that went 6-2 the first time I played it. So those are my two top decks. I don't know if you guys want links to those.
Yeah.
Sure. But so talk to us about like what made them the most winning out of those. Like, what did they have specific combos? Like, control the weak.
Yeah.
Like, what was going on with that?
It's been a while, so I need to actually look at the deck list to see which decks these are. And then I will give you guys in the Keyforge chat again. That's the one from Coda. And let's see.
26 expected.
He likes speed decks, boys and girls.
A lot of
he likes
gas.
speed. That's a lot of gas.
Triple Ember and triple Succubus Arise, like
yeah.
He likes
you can
the
play
gas.
2 cards and you can't redraw after you've done it.
For our listening audience, it is Dis Mars Untamed, Beau Valet, the Overlord of Ling, 68 SAS.
the
Z
Dis
just
loadout
reminded me how gross good Dis Arise decks are when he smashed my face in last night.
That has got to be the best Arise deck I have ever seen.
All right, I rarely go through the whole list, but I think it warrants it. Like, the Dis has Arise and Lash. That's 2 cards. The other 10 cards are Charette, Drumble, Ember, Imp. That's 3 of them. Guardian Demon, and then Succubus, Tentacus. That is definitely one of the best Arises you can possibly have.
That's pretty good.
Freaking Drumble's in there.
Yeah.
That is an amazing disc. Because this deck is not only... it only has 23 SAS from the disc, and that's the disc? Come on, Nova. Come on.
Well, let's not mention that we have Squawker with a couple Mega Mouths.
Well, you have Squawker with double Mega Mouth and Zookeeper and Zizix and John Smith. It literally... Oh, there is one Tunk, but if you have any of the other 5 creatures with your Squawker, the Squawker is lit. Just not Tunk.
Yeah. And then there's the Untamed House, which cooperating
the Untamed House is pretty good, but it is actually like the weakest house here.
Double full moon with Chota, Fuzzy Gruin, Giant Sloth. Oh, yeah, there's a Hunting Witch in there, and a Telega.
Yep.
I mean, like, the Arise into Untamed is pretty solid in this deck, too.
Yeah.
The Arise ends up being really utility for...
Yeah, this
really.
So this deck, what I see, and this is, kind of a classic Coda thing, is with the low F, like, if it draws right, it's gonna absolutely murder people.
Yep.
And if you draw mediocre, you're just gonna kind of be like, yeah, I'm not doing much.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how this.
I mean, some of that is mitigated by the power of the Arise, though, right? Like, as long as
but if the Arise is like one of your late cards, it might not even matter. Or it's one of the first cards you draw, which is even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, because even the Feeding Pit kind of combos with Arise, right? Like, you just discard the discards because you're going to get them back later. Like, there's some stuff going on here that really helps out. But very turn 1 Arise would probably be the worst.
That's when you mulligan it and TCO gives it back to you anyway.
Dude, TCO, for the last week, I've been playing a lot of games, and I swear to you, every single time I mulligan, I get the same hand, -1 card. Like, every single time. I'm gonna start like writing this crap down. Like I've read their thing. Like I don't care what they say. It just doesn't. Like you could like spell out all the math. Like I understand that is 100% what it should be doing. It's not, dude.
It's not. It's not.
I just don't well get it anymore. I just stopped.
Just play. That's why I don't even bother looking at my hand. I just hit. Yep.
Just play. All right. What's the? Let's look at
what
the
is the?
second.
Hold on. Is Flamesir the congruent of Armory for sale?
No. I'm keeping this one. I'm keeping all of this.
I don't know who put that in there. Drascore.
I had to ask.
Oh, that was
the one.
you? I
That's
kind of
what
thought
we
that was
talked about
Drascore.
No, I added it.
All right, go ahead, Z.
All right. So the second deck we have here is the AOA one. It is listed at 72 SAS. Sheep would say 82. It's actually got the 3 houses that people want to see. Dis, Logo,
Hey, man,
Shadows.
don't skip the name on this one.
I was getting there. It's like top to bottom. The devil who lawlessly upsets mischief. So great name.
Yep.
Period. End of story. His name's just fantastic. It's got one of my favorite 2-card combos because it's in my best deck. Double Library of the Damned. If you've never played a deck with those 2 cards, like with 2 of those, or even Memory Chip, because it's like the same thing, try it out. It's just hella fun because you can do lots of things with that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it has Restringuntus. Doesn't have any way to recur it, but obviously that can win games. Your opponent has to be way more aware of the situation than they normally are, to be fair.
This is like one Brand away from really, really gross.
It's also a Brig deck. It has Finite Rupture and Graft. It's doesn't really have it will, because of the double Library of Damned. You can probably easily set that up.
On the double ZYX researchers let you play one and bury it.
The double researcher.
Discard Binate, play Researcher, put it there, discard Graft, play the Researcher, put it there.
Not to mention you do have a Helper Bot Miasma if that combo ever happens to pop itself into your hand.
Well, with 2 Miasmas, there's a high chance you can Helper Bot Miasma to set up your Brig.
Then you can blow up your Helper Bot with
triple life for life with a bad penny. Like the only time you want bad penny is when you have these
bad
cards.
penny is MVP in this deck.
Wow.
It's great.
Wow.
Oh, and then when you're done with them, you can just oubliette them.
Yeah.
God, peace out. You're done. I gave your life 3 times, and now you're purged forever. Get in the trapdoor.
So, worst card in this deck is
Streak? I don't know, like Poke. I mean, Poke has the pip.
Yeah.
Customs office.
Customs office can crush.
You can mess
Especially
with
now, now with how relevant artifacts are, Customs office could go
I was
up.
about to say, I've been playing a 6 artifact deck all day. That would suck.
I mean, I just played a
Would
double
not make
Mecha
me
Buoy deck.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, there's a lot of
This
good
is
cards in
exactly why I like AOA. This is there's a lot of fun things in this stack.
This is definitely a deck I could agree with Sheep on there. Like I'm very well aware of how AOA was sassed, and I do agree. Like this is probably an 84.
Not an 82, but it probably competes.
I would say this is probably an 82. It's got a board wipe. It doesn't have a real R, but it's going to move real fast. It's going to generate a lot of amber.
Yeah.
Its expected amber says 16, but it's going to play higher than that by a lot. And again, like they have to pay attention to Restringuntus. They can't ignore it.
Like this deck also has like both Charette's down, Helper botting into the unlocked with after playing interdimensional. Like,
yeah,
because that's something my fancy AOA deck does, where you capture everything with Charette and then later you kill the board on a Logos turn with your interdimensional graft. Take all the amber.
I think you guys are missing the real MVP in this deck, which is that Library of the Damned.
I mean, that's what I led with.
That ability to double.
This deck's got quite a bit of archiving in it. Like Titan Librarian is one of my very favorite cards.
Oh, and then the double researcher, like because of the 2 cards you want to archive the most are Brig, like that is fantastic. Like, it's exactly what you need.
Now,
Yeah.
Lyle, do you actually see playing the Scullion that's there?
What was that?
Do you actually play the Scullion in your disc? We're talking about the bad card.
Oh yeah. Well, when the bad penny's out, sure.
What's that?
Or
I mean,
kill
like-
your Schuler so you
I'm
can
just
recur
trying
them.
to-
Are you the type of player that will leave your bad penny out to be returned to you?
No, man. The bad penny's is
Bad Penny bad.
She's getting me
Hey,
at.
you
We already went over this. She's getting obli-added after those Life for Lives.
I am very well aware. I've been listening for the last half hour. This is phenomenal.
Have you really?
to be able
I
to see.
just saw Lash. Like, Lash
Yeah.
with Brig
Yeah,
and
Lash
double
is in
Miasma. Like,
all of the
like
amber
this deck can
control.
keep them off key at high cost in every single house except for Logos, although I guess you still help a lot. But like, that is one of the best graph setups for AoA you're ever gonna see, because Charette does it. There's double Charette. Schuler helps a little bit. Charette helps a lot with the graph. Lash helps a lot with the graph. Double Miasma helps a lot with the graph. Like, that is a really good graph. And then if you could brig them, you could probably brig them for like 20. Like, there you go. There's my game.
Then to get TMTP'd.
Yeah,
Wah,
that's generally
wah.
what, that's generally
Yeah.
what happens.
yeah. It's definitely happened to me multiple times.
Wah, wah.
Buy Nate craft into a TMTP.
Do you play? Here's the big question to find out what kind of Keyforge player are you. Knowing it's there, do you play it? You know, chances are they might have it, they might not. Let's say like 15 cards left in deck, 6 in hand. Do you play in? And TMTP has not been played yet. Do you play into it?
Yeah, like 9 times out of 10, I'll play into it.
Nice. I like him. He can stick around. He can stick
Keep the gas
around.
pedal down.
JR, we found your replacement.
It's fine. I'm out for the next month, so you're okay. Welcome, Lyle.
You got swing for the fences. You know what I
That's
mean?
right. You gotta spin the wheel.
That's right.
Spin
Win
it.
big or go home.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's
as you've been playing through your SAS climb, have you found that you've improved as the different variants? So, adaptive play, or your sealed play, or going ahead and playing reversal even.
Oh, see that one's kind of tough because, I wasn't playing. I feel like throughout the SAS climb for me has lasted years, right? And it's only when I stream solo and I'm not streaming another game, and so it's one of those things where I feel like I get better by the end of my 3-hour stream, and then I suck again the next time I stream. And then in the same way, I did a lot of this SAS climb during the pandemic when I wasn't playing.
Oh, did we lose everyone? Hello? Did we lose them? Or am I lost? Hold on. I might be lost.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I lost you guys for a minute.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Well, hopefully the
Am I-
listeners
are we
still
still
have
here?
us.
Yeah, well, they're still there. I'm still in Discord, which is saying, "Did you know?" And I don't know how to get out of it. So hold on. We're gonna close that real quick. We're gonna reopen Discord. Oh no, this isn't
Okay.
good. Hold on. I'm here. Can you hear me? No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill Discord over here. Maybe not. Yeah.
Wookie, you are IT trouble.
Yep. That's why I have Dresscore. Duh.
Oh, well, he's figuring that out. Have you ever set it up so you could help robot into Restring Guntis right after you, as your...
All right. We've lost them for a minute. We'll be right back. Hopefully we're coming in. I'm not sure really what happened with the Discord. But it is coming back.
Damn, like,
There
I
we
think, especially when Team TP, they're going to be waiting for that, because that is the
Yeah.
counter to Brig. You could set it up so you could help robot into Guntis on the Brig turn.
That's amazing.
With- I think that could definitely be a thing.
Tips and tricks with AC. Sorry.
Is the devil who lawlessly upsets mischief for sale?
Absolutely. This is going to turn into a sale.
Now this is going to be, what else you got?
Why don't you go test a whole bunch of decks for us and then
Yeah.
let us know what's good?
Thanks for doing the groundwork.
Yep,
The
you've
ref-
weeded out all the trash.
Yeah.
We'll take the good stuff now.
Yeah.
So as you went through your SAS climb, are there any individual cards that you now gravitate more towards than others? I mean, you heard Z and others talking about Library of the Damned. I love hearing the different combos as people are talking, but are there individual cards that now kind of excite you just as you go through the different decks?
Oh, I don't know what it is, but I suddenly, it was like anytime I had a deck with Tau Tau Vapors, I was like just so excited, and I don't know why, because I just
Because
like
it's
that card.
amazing.
Good card.
Yeah, it was amazing. I just remember like as I was going through, I was just like, "Yo, Tau Tau Vape, like Vape Nash," like just so excited.
Oh boy, we're gonna have to start that.
I'm thinking, do I like Tau Tau or Eclectic Inquiry better now?
Ooh.
Oh, that's real hard.
I'm an eclectic guy. I love archives and I love an Amber Pip.
After playing this week, I think I'm more of a eclectic person now too.
I mean,
I don't know. I had
would
double
have to
eclectic
choose
this
eclectic.
week.
I'll take eclectic because that means I'm playing the better set.
Okay.
Are you?
Then yes, 100%.
All right, fine.
Now, do you? So you mentioned you're playing solo on stream, TCO. Do you ever? Because you got a whole channel where sometimes you play stuff in person. Do you play Keyforge in person, like head to head on stream ever?
So my co-host is lives in a different state. So when we do Keyforge like duo streams, we're playing them on Tabletop Simulator. It feels more like we're playing in person, and we have like the physics and all that other stuff because so at least like we can. Because I don't know, man. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like that the UI for the Crucible, I'm still not totally jazzed on. And I don't like the fact that you have to like when you're playing with somebody and you're just trying to play like a casual game, you're like, I just didn't mean to do that or whatever, blah blah blah, and like all that like
it's
nonsense.
impossible
of, like,
to
going
fix
to
some
manual
of
and all
the
that shit,
mistakes once they've been clicked.
Mm-hmm.
Like you played upgrade onto the wrong creature, and it's like, nope, that's going to be like 5 minutes of dinking around.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a pain. So when we play, we do it that way. We just play it on Tabletop Sim.
Gotcha.
It's better for us.
Or your opponent forgets you have dual Mecha Buoy out and doesn't take the tide.
Yeah.
That's
They,
never happened.
yes, right. And the game is basically done, and there's no fixing it, even though they're like, clearly I was going to take the tide.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, there is the flip the table button in Tabletop Simulator.
Which is fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's been my co-host locks that from me.
You're not allowed to flip the table.
Take it away. It's too tempting.
That'd be me, like, by the third term of every game. This is crap. Flip the table. Next.
Alrighty. Well, we're past our hour. Holy shnizzle. I can't talk now. Last question for you, Lyle. And this is a question I've asked everybody on the show, so I'll ask you as well. If there's one thing you could change, implement, what was the quiz? Change, implement, or make better about Keyforge, what would it be?
Change, implement, or make better.
Those are all the same things, by the way.
Yeah.
I guess change is a relative term, but
well, the my answer for a long time until just recently was to start it up again. But now that it is, I'm just happy that it lives. I don't really know. I just enjoy the game so much that it's one of those things where like I wasn't really. I'm going to go into like a thing now. Sorry, I know we're trying to wrap it up here, but because I'm like a casual player and I don't really, and I've never really been so competitive and stuff like that. Like I've never traveled really for a game, but this was the first game in which like, I went with my local crew to Louisville, Kentucky to do a regional championship up over there. I went to Indianapolis for the Vault Tour. I went to PAX Unplugged to do, the tournament over there. This is the first game that has made me want to travel to play.
I know me and Z bet you first at Indy.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part is we were streaming, so we were like exorbitantly busy. Trying to get everything set up.
And it was cool just like meet people and play the game in that way. And so to me, I'm just happy that the game exists and that it's going to keep going. I'm not exactly sure what I'd want to improve on because I'm just like kind of delighted that it's going to keep going right now.
That it's still around.
I have to think on that.
All righty. Right on. Guys, we've gone over our hour. We had an Ewok join us and then leave. That's okay. But we'll move into final thoughts. Sheep, what do you got for final thoughts this week?
Keep playing Keyforge.
All right. Oh,
and more AOA.
Right there.
Everybody needs some more AOA in their life.
That's debatable. Ewok, what you got?
Well, I was happy to be able to join the conversation, actually just sit back and listen. So thank you for joining us, Lyle. Everyone continue to see the great news. Great job, Ghost Galaxy, in producing another article for us and just enjoying the game. I played some Reversal today. So shout out to Bear. Feel better, man. And it's just great to play, whether you're playing a SAS Climb, whether you're playing Reversal, or whether you're playing Sealed. Just get out there and have fun with an amazing deck. It's new to you and enjoy the game.
Z?
Glad to be back. It's good to be back to be here, hang out with you guys. I hope people listen.
Now my evil plan of making a Keyforge boy band is complete. I have all 5 members. Drascore, what you got?
It's just great to see excitement around the community, have folks like Lyle on, hear them be energized about the future, and that just revs me up and gets me excited about what's to come. So I'm ready.
And we'll finish off with Lyle. Lyle, what you got for your final thoughts?
If you don't mind me doing a plug.
Yeah, I was going to say you could do your plugs during the segment too.
Twitch.tv/CritCamp or YouTube.com/CritCamp, at CritCamp on Twitter. And my handle on the Crucible is Moscato. So if you see me on the Crucible, join a game with me. I might be streaming it.
Right on. So, guys, don't forget we play Sealed on Sunday. Oh, I'm going to screw this up. Dan, tell them where we play.
Already wrong.
I know. We play Archon on Sundays, Sealed on Tuesday and Wednesday.
You got it.
And then we play random things on Thursdays.
Yep.
While we're
We don't play random things.
We don't.
Other AC fans play random things.
Well, Dan does.
I do not.
Dan
I didn't play a single game today.
Nice.
Wow.
Because Lyle was interesting, where you guys are kind of boring now.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks for that, Dan. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. I'm sure I'll be nice and boring when I'm sitting next to you all the way to Kansas City. Anyways, that's going to do it for us this week, guys. Thank you so much for Lyle for joining. Go check him out over at Crypt Camp and all of his YouTube, Twitch. Actually, going to talk to Lyle about Twitch via YouTube here. Maybe, if he sticks around. Because I'm interested in that. And come join the games. We play all the time. Literally, we're up to 4 out of the 7 days a week. You can join a Keyforge game on TCO. So, come play with us. We have fun. We'll see y'all next week.
Forge.
Put it out for the world to see. LP and X-Men did the 10th degree. Nobody in the world is safe when we melt down the wax in your record crate. X-Men about to blast off worldwide. X-Men about to blast off worldwide.
You do it like this.
About to blast off worldwide. Put it out for the world to see. LP and X-Men did the 10th degree. Nobody in the world is safe when we melt down the wax in your record crate. Put it out for the world to see. LP and X-Men did the 10th degree. Nobody in the world is safe when we melt down the wax in your record crate.